All right, here we go. So, for those of you who are not in the know, the Barona Flo card was released as part of the the Win Pack for Duelists back in 2021. This is the same time that Speedroids got High Speedroid Cork Shooter. So a lot of Win decks got support, and Sherry got all of her cards printed as part of this pack because it was basically like honoring anime characters. So let's talk about the cards and what they can do. So obviously the headliner is Barona Flo. Barona Flo is a level 10 wind synchro monster. It's a warrior, 3,000 attack and 2,400 defense. And the nice part about Barona Flo is that unlike other high-level monsters from the synchro era, she does not require any Excel synchro at all. It is one tuner plus one or more non-tuners. In fact, the primary way that I make Barona Flo in Master Duel is I will use Speedroid Red-Eye Dice and then 3 level 3s. That's usually how I make Barona Flo, is Speedroid Red-Eye Dice and then Terror Top and 2 Mecha Phantom Beast tokens. Barona Flo, once per turn, you can target one card on the field and destroy it, either player's field. And once while face up on the field, when a card or effect is activated as a quick effect, you can negate the activation if you do destroy that card. So that is a spell, trap, or monster effect. Can be negated. You can only use the previous effect of Barona Flo once per turn. Once per turn during the standby phase, you can target one level 9 or lower monster in your graveyard, return Barona Flo to the extra deck, and if you do, special summon that monster. So the idea is Barona Flo gets made out of Chevalier de Fleur. You make Chevalier de Fleur, you attack with Chevalier de Fleur, you manage to negate a spell or trap activated on your turn, and then you swap to Baronne. Baronne protects you during your opponent's turn. Then when it comes back to you, Baronne tags out into Chevalier de Fleur, and you make her all over again. That's the idea. It's really cool, the fact that it gets like a level 9 or lower, so it literally just can make like anything that was used to make Baronne back to your field. So it's a fantastic, very high value card. It's a lot of fun to play, and the fact that it's win is just cherry on top of the cake, right? So this is a good card, and if it gets added to Duel Links, it will see a lot of play. But that's not all that Sherry had. So Sherry has Salage de Fleur, which is a level 8 dark spellcaster monster. You can target one monster you control and one card on either player's field. Special summon Salage de Fleur from your hand, and if you do, destroy both cards. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target one other monster in your graveyard and shuffle it into the deck. Then add one level 1 plant from your deck or graveyard to your hand. You can only use each effect of Salage de Fleur once per turn. Now, a level 1 plant monster and destroying a card you control. What's that about, you might be thinking? Well, let's talk about this card, Necro Flo. Necro Flo is a level 1 plant monster, and it says if this card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Sorcerer de Fleur from your deck. So you pop it with Baronne, you can pop it with Salage de Fleur, and there are other cards that you can pop this Necro Flo with. So anytime that we talk about a card that is being destroyed, like one of your own cards being destroyed, remember, you have Necro Flo. Now you might be thinking, okay, Necro Flo lets you special summon from your deck. That's pretty good. What is Sorcerer de Fleur? Sorcerer de Fleur is this card. It is a level 8 dark spellcaster as well. Also has 2,900 attack points. When this card is normal or special summoned, select one monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon that monster to your side of the field. It cannot attack your opponent directly, and it is destroyed during the end phase of this turn. This effect of Sorcerer de Fleur can only be activated once per turn. So, Sorcerer de Fleur is a level 8 dark spellcaster. Salage de Fleur is also a level 8 dark spellcaster. You might be thinking, these two cards can special summon themselves at the same time very frequently. Yes, they can, which means that you have access to rank 8s. So you can play the de Fleur deck with Baronne, Chevalier, and Mina, and then the rest of your extra deck, it could be the Galaxy Eyes package. You know, you can make Cypher Dragon into Full Armor Photon Dragon into Cypher Blade Dragon, because you have these two cards. And none of these cards are locking you, by the way. You're not getting locked into Wind, you're not getting locked into Warriors, you're not getting locked into Machines. You know, none of these cards lock you, so you can play whatever you want. She also has some field spells, and the field spell that she primarily used is called Étoile des Hommes. if the turn player summons exactly one monster, destroy that monster. And if you do, the controller of that monster special summons a mask token to their side of the field. The mask token is a dark spellcaster that's level 1, and its attack and defense become equal to the destroyed monster's attack and defense on the field, but the token cannot attack directly. You can only use this effective Equalate to zone once per turn. If this face-up card leaves the field, destroy all mask tokens on the field. Okay, so you might be thinking, why do I want to destroy my own cards? What's the benefit of that? Well, Equalate to zone basically turns off monster effects. So for example, if you activate Equalate to zone and your opponent summons Red Dragon Archfiend, Red Dragon Archfiend could destroy all monsters in defense position if it attacked right. Instead, they have a level 1 token with 3,000 attack and 2,500 defense points. So it's basically like it negates monster effects, because it just destroys the monsters. So it triggers your Necro Floor, which is good for you. And it also destroys one of your opponent's monsters before it can use this effect, which is also good for you. So Equalate to zone is a really good card, that's why it's a UR in Master Duel. Only once per turn, though. It said Chevalier de Fleur has not been reworked. This card is the same as it was when it came out ages ago. It's a level 8 wind warrior synchro monster that requires Floor Synchron and one or more non-tuners. Once per turn during each of your turns, when your opponent activates a spell or trap card, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. So it's basically like Void Ogre Dragon. It only has 2,700 attack points compared to Void Ogre Dragon's 3,000, but you can activate the effect even if you have cards in your hand, which is nice. But it only works on your turn, not on your opponent's turn. So mostly this card will be used to negate trap cards that would interfere with your turn. But the thing is, Duel Links is very much about trap cards being activated on your turn. So Chevalier de Fleur probably actually going to see a lot of play if it's encouraged, if it's pushed, if there are skills for it. This card could actually really be a good card going second, I think. Then we have Centaur Mina. This is a Beast Warrior Fusion monster, which it's level 6, and it requires 1 Light Warrior monster and 1 Beast monster. Once per turn, during your turn, when your opponent activates a trap card, as a quick effect you can negate the activation, and if you do, set that card face down. You can only use each of the following effects of Centaur Mina once per turn. During your main phase, you can special summon a level 2 or lower monster from your hand or graveyard. If this card is sent to your graveyard as synchro material for a Wind Warrior monster, you can destroy 1 face-up monster on the field. Fantastic! So Mina brings back a tuner, which can then immediately go into Chevalier, and if you make Chevalier with her, Mina destroys a card on your opponent's field. Amazing. That's really, really useful. So Mina is a really good card. It's really easy to make Mina, and you might be noticing a theme, right? The idea is that this one monster is being ranked up by all 3 of these. So Mina, only during your turn, can negate only trap cards, and if it does, it doesn't destroy them. Chevalier can negate spell or trap cards only during your turn, and it can destroy them. And then Baronne can negate any card during either player's turn. So it's like, but then when Baronne negates, it shrinks back into Centaur Mina, right? That's the idea. So this is a cool story. The lore of these cards is very good. Okay, we got Horse of the Floral Knights. This is the ace card of the deck. You are going to play this at 3. It is the best card. Be excited for this card. This is probably going to be a UR. Horse of the Floral Knights. Level 3 Wind Beast monster with 400 attack, 800 defense. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 Light Noble Knight monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Horse of the Floral Knights once per turn. Once per turn during your main phase, you can fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using this card you control and other monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. Great. So, which card are we going to draw with Horse of the Floral Knights? The card that we are going to draw is Noble Knight's Spearholder. Noble Knight Spearholder is a level 2 warrior monster. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target... I love this effect. This effect is my favorite effect ever because it's so weird. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target a level 8 or lower monster you control. The monster you target's name becomes Floor Synchron, and also it is treated as a tuner monster until the end phase. So, so you might be thinking, oh, You know, Centaur Mina is level 6. This card, if it was a tuner monster, could then make Chevalier de Fleur. No, Noble Knight Spearholder targets Centaur Mina, and Centaur Mina becomes Floor Synchron, and then the level 6 tuner is what tunes the level 2 to go into Chevalier. It's really funny in my opinion. Okay, the other effect is you contribute this card to add an equip spell from your deck to your hand. That is like an effect that it had in the anime, so you're never going to use that effect. It's not good. But basically, you summon Floral Knights, you draw your Noble Knight Spearholder with Floral Knights' effect. Then you activate Floral Knights' second effect, you fuse both of these cards into your Centaur Mina. Centaur Mina then activates its effect, revives Noble Knight Spearholder from the graveyard. Noble Knight Spearholder's effect targets Centaur Mina. Centaur Mina now becomes Floor Synchron, 6+2, Chevalier de Fleur. So Horse of the Floral Knights is a 1-card Chevalier de Fleur. 1 card. And then you have the skill. And the skill will just let you draw Fleurette de Fleur, which I'll talk about next. So the skill lets you draw Fleurette de Fleur after putting Floor Synchron from outside your deck into your graveyard. Fleurette de Fleur, activate this card by targeting 1 level 2 or lower monster in your graveyard. Special summon it but negate its effects. Also equip it with this card. When this card equipped with this effect leaves the field, destroy that monster. The equipped monster gains 700 attack points, and if this card is sent from the spell trap zone to the graveyard, you can equip this card to a synchro monster you control. You can only use this effect once per turn, and you can only activate 1 Fleurette per turn. So, let's say that you're using the skill that we saw. That's like the fusion skill for what's her name, Sherry. It sends Floor Synchron from your outside your deck to the graveyard, and then it lets you draw Fleurette de Fleur from your deck. So you use Horse of the Floral Knights, you go into Centaur Mina goes into Chevalier. You activate Fleurette de Fleur, you bring back Floor Synchron, you tune your Chevalier with your Floor Synchron, you make Baronne, and Baronne equips Fleurette de Fleur from your graveyard. Because this is such a clear, obvious line, there are only 2 options that I can see. Either, for some reason, Konami is going to add Baronne to the game but not give us any of these cards. In which case, the skill is meant to basically make the anime-only versions of these cards act like the real cards by giving us polymerization and giving us a revive. And we're just supposed to make Chevalier with it. Or, all of these cards are being added, at which point the skill only makes sense if Baronne is also going to be a card that you can get outside of the skill. And that's why I'm thinking that Baronne is probably going to be a Limit 1 card for the Limit 1 bundle. I believe, based on the skill, we'll go over the skill in a second, that Baronne is coming to the game as a collectible card. And I believe that about Crystal Wing, and I was right. So, I do pay close attention, I do kind of see what these leaks mean, and I analyze them, and I have been right in the past. So, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call it. I do think that Baronne is going to be a card that you can play without the skill. And the skill is like going to be Sherry's like level 1 skill that's supposed to add her ace to her deck, just like every other character gets a level 1 skill that adds the ace to their deck. Okay. Necro Synchron. This card is not even in the game as like a nerfed version. It's not even there. Level 2 Tuner. This card's name becomes Floor Synchron while it's on the field or in the graveyard. You can only use each of the following effects of Necro Synchron once per turn. You can target 1 other face-up monster you control and increase its level by 2 until the end of the turn. That's fantastic. That allows you to target Centaur Mina and make it level 8, so that you can immediately go into Baronne de Fleur without making Chevalier. If this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material for a wind monster, you can special summon a level 1 plant monster from your deck. So, Necro Synchron, target Centaur Mina, go into Baronne. Then Necro Synchron special summons Necro Fleur from the deck. Baronne's effect pops Necro Fleur. Necro Fleur special summons Sorcerer de Fleur. Sorcerer de Fleur takes a monster from the opponent's graveyard, and you kill your opponent. That is what we're looking at. This is another card that Sherry used. I don't think we're going to get this card. It's really broken. Soulbinding Gate. Activate this card if you control no monsters, and a set spell or trap you control was destroyed by a card effect this turn. During the main phase, if exactly 1 monster whose attack is lower than your life points is summoned, and Zone is in your graveyard, we are getting a skill to put Zone face down on our field. Destroy that monster, and if you do take 800 damage, then inflict 800 damage to your opponent. So that'll be halved, but still. Still, if your opponent summons any monsters during the main phase whose attack points are less than your life point total, you get to pop them immediately, and then both players take 400. So That is not once per turn. It's just going to happen over and over again. Your opponent will either have to pendulum summon, or they will have to summon so many monsters that eventually your life points are too low and then kill you that way. But we don't really have enough cards in our hand to do that, so I'm guessing that this is going to 100% not come to Duel Links. It's too good. White Steed of the Floral Knights. This is a level 6 Wind Beast monster. If you control a level 2 monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. Fantastic. So if you have Floor Synchron, you can special summon this card, immediately go into Chevalier de Fleur without making Centaur Mina. That's really good. You can only special summon White Steed of the Floral Knights once per turn this way. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target one card you control, negate the attack, and if you do, destroy the targeted cards. This is another way for you to destroy your Necro de Fleur. So this little plant thing right here, this little sad plant, is getting popped over and over and over again. Like, run one copy of this, special summon it from your deck 8 times, and then pop everything, and you get Sorcerer de Fleur so much. It's great. It's got 24 attack points, that doesn't really matter because it's coming out in defense position. And easy access to Chevalier de Fleur is what the deck needs. So yeah, this is going to be good. It's going to be a situation where, like, if you're playing this card, you do want to play 3 copies of Floor Synchron, which is a bad card. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Noble Knight Shieldbearer. If this card is normal or special summon, you can banish 1 light monster from your graveyard to draw a card. That's a bad effect. It's what it had. It's what it did in the anime. You can see, like, they gave them the anime effects which were bad, and then gave them good effects afterwards. You can banish this card from your hand or your field. So that's right. You can just discard this card basically to add 1 level 6 or lower Wind Beast monster from your deck to your hand. So you can use this to draw your Horse of the Floor Knights or your White Steed of the Floor Knights. So either way, you're going to get an immediate Chevalier de Fleur based on whether you have Floor Synchron in your hand or not. So if you have Floor Synchron, banish this card, draw White Steed. If you don't have Floor Synchron, banish this card, grab a Horse of the Floor Knights. Either way, you got Chevalier. This is a great card. Floor Synchron, if this card is sent to the graveyard as Synchro material, you can special summon a level 2 or lower monster from your hand. So the idea is that you use Centaur Mina to go with Floor Synchron into Chevalier de Fleur, and then you can special summon a level 2 tuner from your hand, like Necro Synchron, to go into Baronne. I don't actually know why Floor Synchron has this effect from the anime, because Floor Synchron special summon into Chevalier, I don't know. Like, she didn't do anything after Chevalier came out. I haven't watched the anime, so I don't know, like, what this card's effect was supposed to do. It's kind of weird, but regardless. It can special summon itself, which is kind of cool, so you don't really brick on having 2 of these in your hand. Synchro Dilemma. This is a dumb card. This is a continuous spell. You can activate one of the following effects. Send a Synchron monster from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard to special summon a monster from your hand. So you can toss your Necro Synchron or your Floor Synchron and put it in the graveyard to special summon a monster from your hand, which is pretty good. Target one other card you control, destroy it, and if you do, special summon a Synchron monster with a different original name from your hand or graveyard. So you can pop your Necro Floor to special summon your Necro Synchron or your Floor Synchron from the graveyard, and the Necro Floor special summons Sorcerer de Fleur, so then you immediately go into Baronne with the 2 and the 8. So if you have Necro or Floor and you have Necro Floor, then Synchro Dilemma just gives you an immediate Baronne, which is cool, I guess. It's a continuous spell, so you can do 1 effect per turn. It's pretty good. Oh, you can only do 1 effect. Okay. You can only do 1 effect. So if you could only do 1 no, it doesn't matter. You can special summon it from your hand, so it doesn't matter. You just don't toss it. You just normal summon Necro Floor, activate Synchro Dilemma, pop Necro Floor, and then summon Sorcerer, special summon Floor from hand, Baronne. And that's it. We have Zone, which is bad. When the set card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can select a continuous spell or a field spell in your graveyard and add it to your hand. That doesn't target, which is nice, so your opponent can't, like, DD Crow in response to it. But it's a bad card. The skill is there's going to be a skill that, like, sets this card for you, but it's not useful. You don't need field spells that badly in this deck. So, and then the other card she played is Noble Knight Joan, which is, I think we already have this card in Duel Links, so I'm not worried about Okay, that is Sherry's deck, and then the skill that I'm talking about is here we go. Send one Noble Knight Spearholder from your hand to the graveyard to set a polymerization to your field from outside your deck, and send one Floor Synchron to the graveyard from outside your deck. Then you can add one Fleurette de Fleur or one Noble Knight monster with 800 attack from your deck or graveyard to your hand. This skill can only be used once per turn. During the turn you use this skill, you cannot special summon monsters from outside your extra deck except Noble Knight monsters with 800 attack points or Synchron Tuner monsters. So you send Noble Knight Spearholder to the graveyard, you set polymerization from outside your deck, send Floor Synchron to the graveyard from outside your deck, then you can add Fleurette de Fleur or a Noble Knight monster with 800 attack, which is going to be your Noble Knight's the Beast, Horse of the Floral Knights. No, Horse of the Floral Knights is not. You can't add Horse of the Floral Knights because it's wait. Chat. Oh, chat. Hold on. Oh, but this card also doesn't have 800 attack points. Wait, which card are we adding? Oh, Shield Bearer? We're adding Shield Bearer? Why are we adding Shield Bearer? What does Shield Bearer do in the game? Is Shield Bearer not in the game yet? They didn't release a bad version of Shield Bearer. Oh, okay. No, there it is. When this card is normal summon, you can banish a light warrior monster from a graveyard to draw a card. Yeah, so this is like this doesn't make any sense. I thought that I was gonna be like that it was gonna draw a Horse of the Floral Knights, but no, this doesn't have Noble Knights in its hand. What is the point of this? Because you can't fusion summon. You send your card that you need to fusion summon. Because Centaur Mina, the version of Centaur Mina that we have, requires Spearholder. It doesn't. It's not like the other one that lets you just summon any light warrior. I don't know what's going on. This doesn't make sense for either version of the deck. Like, it doesn't make sense for the version of the deck where you get everything because you don't need polymerization because you have Horse of the Floral Knights to draw fusion some without polymerization, and it doesn't make sense for you to draw your Shield Bearer unless we're getting the new version of Shield Bearer that can discard itself to draw a card. But then you don't have the materials. You have polymerization. You draw a Wind Beast. I don't know. I'm actually confused. I have no idea. Like, this is weird. This is very. I mean, it's very obvious that if you have Fleurette de Fleur and polymerization, you can immediately go into Baronne. But it's very weird the way that this is set up to like specifically restrict you to Noble Knights instead of Floral Knights. That's strange. I don't know what's going on.